Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening. You're watching Oman News. First, the headlines. The volume of British investments in the Sultanate amounts to more than 2.5 billion Omani riyals. Government expenditure on social housing in 2013 reaches more than 95 million riyals. To shed light on fields of investment in the Sultanate, the Omani Trade Conference is inaugurated in the German city of Frankfurt. And Omanization issues and helping youth to establish small enterprises are discussed by the 5th meeting of the Municipal Council in the Governorate of Al-Lahira. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has received a cable of thanks from His Excellency President Abdulaziz Bouteflika of Algeria in reply to His Majesty's cable of greetings on his re-election as the President of the Republic. His Majesty the Sultan has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Dr. Rania Dev of Nepal on his country's National Day. Discussing relations between the two countries and ways of achieving joint interests for the Sultanate and Kazakhstan were at the focus of meeting of His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed Al No'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, with His Excellency Ajan Mokash, Kazakhstan's accredited ambassador to the Sultanate. Enhancing Oman-Cyprus relations were at the center of talks of His Excellency, the Minister of the Royal Office, with His Excellency Kostas Papadimos, Cyprus's accredited ambassador to the Sultanate. And His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed Al No'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, received His Excellency Dr. Anwar Bek Fazyanov, Russia's accredited ambassador to the Sultanate. They reviewed relations between the Sultanate and Russia and ways of stepping them up for the benefit of both sides. The distinguished relations between the Sultanate and the United Kingdom made British authority to facilitate procedures of visas for Omanis to enter its lands so as to be e-visa. This came in a statement by His Excellency Jamie Bowden, British ambassador to the Sultanate, who added that
the relationship between the Sultanate of Oman and the United Kingdom is over 400 years old, and I think it is as warm and as close as any relationship between two countries anywhere in the world. It is a constant pleasure and a privilege for me to serve as a British ambassador here in Oman, and I know my fellow countrymen who live here all feel the same way. One of the things that most pleases me about the new electronic visa waiver system is that it makes it easier for all of our Omani friends to travel to the United Kingdom, and I very much hope that we will see even more of them going there this year than we have in previous years. The electronic visa waiver for Omani citizens was introduced on the 1st of January and has enabled thousands of Omanis to travel to the United Kingdom in a way I think is much easier than the system with visas because it is free, because they do not need to go to an application centre, they don't need to give their fingerprints, they don't need to submit their passport, they just have to fill in the form 48 hours before they travel. There have been a number of Omani travellers who, when they've arrived at the airport, have been unable to board the aircraft. This is because the details on the electronic visa waiver form have to be 100% accurate. There is unfortunately no margin for error. The details in particular that must be correct are the flight number and the exact timing as on the 24-hour clock, the correct port of departure, and just to clarify, that is the last place at which you board your aircraft.
With regard to various aspects of bilateral relations between the Sultanate and the UK, His Excellency the British Ambassador added this to say.
One of the key features of our relationship is that it is so multifaceted. It is very strong in the trade and investment fields, it is very strong in the defence field, it is very strong in the cultural and educational field, perhaps most importantly of all, there is a great web of ties between British citizens and Omani citizens, whether through tourism, whether through study, or whether just through friendship. The United Kingdom is by far the largest foreign investor in the Sultanate, with investments worth currently over 2.6 billion riyals, and I am certain that figure is going to increase very significantly in the next 2 to 3 years, particularly as BP develop the Khazan gas field. Currently, most of that investment is in either the oil and gas sectors or in the financial services sector. I'm very pleased to say that there is one British company that is about to begin work on a project inside one of the industrial free zones, and I hope we're going to see more of those kinds of investments in the future.
Government expenditure on social housing in 2013 amounted to more than 95 million Omani riyals. This was voiced by His Excellency Engineer Saif bin Amr al-Shakhsi, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Housing. He said that social housing being rendered by the ministry has been accorded great care by His Majesty the Sultan. He added that the ministry has achieved a big stride in this field. Sultan Qaboos University Hospital obtained the golden position after it successfully passed the final evaluation stage from specialized international Canadian accreditation establishment in monitoring performance of health institutions. The final evaluation, conducted by a number of international specialists, comprised various departments and sections of the hospital, starting from the higher and operation administrations. They also evaluated clinical and diagnosis section, management of medications, and controlling contagious diseases. The initial report highlighted that even though indications showed improvements, several fields challenges are still evident, namely medication management and enhancement of work environments. During his visit to the Netherlands, His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Futaisi, Minister of Transport and Communications, discussed with Her Excellency Milan Hagen, Dutch Minister of Environment and Infrastructure Developments of Transport and Logistics sector in the Sultanate and challenges facing it. The Minister of Transport and Communications stressed that the Sultanate seeks to unify procedures applied in the Sultanate's ports through applying one-stop station program. In order to enhance economic and investment relations between the Sultanate and Germany, the Omani Trade Conference was inaugurated in the German city of Frankfurt. It sheds on light on fields of investment in the Sultanate. A great number of companies, businessmen and investors from both countries take part in the event. It focuses on available investment opportunities in the Sultanate, investment incentives provided by the Sultanate to foreign investors, and major projects being implemented in the country. Still to come in our news bulletin, His Excellency the Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar stresses on the Sultan's great role in the poetic and literary arena in the Arab world.
تخلص من الازدحام في مكتبك باستخدام ورق دبل اي. دبل اي ورق بجودة مضاعفة. ورق دبل اي سرعة وسلاسة. تخلص من الازدحام في مكتبك باستخدام ورق دبل اي. دبل اي ورق بجودة مضاعفة. ورق دبل اي سرعة وسلاسة.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate Oman Television. The Ministry of Health announced recording of 82 new cases of H1N1 influenza during the month of May. 3 cases died as a result of disease complications, while other cases had light symptoms, which do not require treatment, and other moderate cases which were exposed to medical follow-ups at hospitals to receive suitable treatment. The ministry clarified that with regard to statistics related to coronavirus cases that caused Middle East respiratory syndrome, that there were not any new cases recorded this month. The ministry reiterated that it is working diligently to monitor and to control the disease through effective epidemic surveillance system, which is being applied by the ministry. The ministry also stressed the necessity of cooperation and efforts by all members of the society to stop dangers of spreading the disease by following preventive measures and health habits, while sneezing, coughing, and paying attention to personal hygiene, mainly hands cleaning. In pursuit of finding partnership between the two sides in vocational training and providing job opportunities for students of the Center for Care and Rehabilitation of the Handicapped in Al-Khawd of mild mental disability, the Ministry of Social Development signed a memorandum of understanding with Atalia Engineering and Oilfields Services Company. The signings came in continuation of cooperation between the two sides in enhancement of principle of social responsibility adopted by private sector establishments to train, employ and provide scientific and practical skills for disabled people. 238 practical programs by Institute of Public Administration, from which benefited 4,590 trainees from various units of state's administrative apparatus. That was announced at a ceremony on the Institute's annual day, which was held under the auspices of His Excellency Sheikh Khalid bin Umar Al Marhoon, Minister of Civil Service and Chairman of Board of Directors of Institute of Public Administration. At the ceremony, excellent employees and personnel from various government and domestic entities who won first places in scientific programs for the year 2013 were honored. The Public Authority for Consumer Protection intends to launch soon the first e-site of its kind for recalling and cautioning. The site contains all information related to decisions of recalling commodities in all countries of the world, as well as cautions regarding some commodities and medicines. The site will include international and local sections, and data will be directly filled in the international section according to the source country that issued the news. After, the authority will carry out domestic procedures to make sure of goods that fell under caution and recalling. Data will be transferred to the local sections, and suitable procedures shall be taken towards these commodities which fell under recalling and caution. Urbanization issues and ways to overcome obstacles hindering youths from establishing small enterprises were the center of discussions of the 5th meeting of the Municipal Council in the Governorate of Al-Lahira. The Council also reviewed the outcome of the field visits paid by its members to villages of the wilayas of Ibri. It also discussed the social and economic impact of drought in some farms and plantations in the wilaya. The Council also dealt with needs of Jabal al-Sarah citizens, such as construction of recharge dams, telecommunication services, health center, and paving the 10-kilometer road that connects Saint Village and Wadi Ghul. The Sultanate has a great role in the poetic and literary arena in the Arab world. This was stressed by His Excellency Said Mohammed bin Sultan Al Busaidi, Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar. During his meeting with poet Kamil bin Nasser al-Bathari, who represented the Sultanate in the Millionaires Poet Competition for Popular Poetry held in the United Arab Emirates, in which he won the 2nd place. His Excellency commends the role of such contests in preservation or preserving Arab traditions.
تخلص من الازدحام في مكتبك باستخدام ورق دبل اي. دبل اي ورق بجودة مضاعفة. ورق دبل اي سرعة وسلاسة.
And now for the general weather forecast. Clear to partly cloudy skies will prevail over the Sultanate. Winds will be southerly to southwestern light to moderate, and seas along the southeastern coast will be moderate to rough with a maximum wave height of 2 meters, while it will be slight to moderate along the rest of the Sultanate coast with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The volume of British investments in the Sultanate amounts to more than 2.5 billion Omani riyals. Government expenditure on social housing in 2013 reaches more than 95 million riyals. To shed light on fields of investment in the Sultanate, the Omani Trade Conference is inaugurated in the German city of Frankfurt. And Omanization issues and helping youths to establish small enterprises are discussed by 5th meeting of the Municipal Council in the Governorate of Lahira. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, thanks for watching. Good night.